Hey there, friends. This is Praying Medic, and this is my QAnon thread that I posted on Twitter this weekend, Sunday, January 14th. QAnon had dropped a lot of information on 8chan, and I found it very interesting, even though I don't follow Q all that closely. My wife does. I looked at the information, and I found it very easy to understand with a little bit of help. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through some of the posts that Q put out on 8chan. So what I'm going to do is go through some of the posts that Q put out this weekend and give you my explanation, my interpretation of them. One of the things that I think is worth talking about is a lot of people are interested in knowing who Q is. Q doesn't want us to know who Q is. They don't want their identity to be known. To me, it doesn't matter. You can get lost in trying to figure out who Q is. That's not the point of Q's posts. Q is an unknown entity. They're posting on 8chan because they want to remain unknown. When you post on 4chan and 8chan, you are anonymous. That's why the people on the chans are called Anons. Q is called QAnon because they want to remain anonymous. If they wanted to be, if they wanted to have their identity figured out, they would be posting somewhere else where people could figure out who they were. They want to remain anonymous, and so I'm going to leave it at that. A lot of speculation as to whether Q is a LARP, whether Q can be trusted. I have been keeping kind of a wait-and-see attitude on Q. Let's see how things work out. Let's see if the things that Q talks about comes to pass. A lot of the things that Q has posted have come to pass. And what I use Q for is confirmation. Q does not report the news. Q is a person who is helping me get confirmation about the news that I'm reading. Helps me confirm that I'm on the right track. So I use Q primarily to confirm things that I'm already seeing in the news and that we're going in the right direction and that we're not being misled by the mainstream media. If you're going to follow Q, it helps to just keep things in perspective. I don't hang on Q. I'm not waiting for Q to drop more information. I'm looking at the news and, my wife says, hey, Q puts more information out. We'll check it out. And we just use it as confirmation that things are going in the right direction. Some of the information that Q put out this weekend has to do with things that are in the headlines in the news recently. So we're going to talk about those. If you are interested, Q posts can be found on the Reddit page CBTS, that's Calm Before the Storm _stream. The moderators there keep an up-to-date map of the Q posts, and they can help answer questions if you're interested in that. So we're going to begin with this post, which was one of the first ones that came out. As our friend Sundance, who posts at Conservative Treehouse, The Last Refuge, has warned, this is going to be a big news week, so get ready for it. Q has also confirmed here, big news week, future proves past. The phrase future proves past is something that Q often says. Q is trying to get us to look at things that Q has posted in the past as confirmation of future events. So here Q is looking at what news was unlocked. Do you believe in coincidences? Q does not believe in coincidences. Uranium 1 is the green link. All of the green links that you'll see in here, all the green text, refers to things that Q has already posted. Q is quoting himself when you see green text. So what public disclosure occurred concerning Uranium 1? This is a story that I posted from the Department of Justice website. The co-founder of Transport Logistics, which is a transport company that was connected to Tenex, which is a U.S. subsidiary of the Russian uranium company Rosatom, which bought Uranium 1. The co-founder of that trucking company was indicted. There was 11 sealed indictments that were opened. This was, I believe, on Friday. It was reported on the Department of Justice website. Posted a link to that on my Twitter page. So the Uranium One investigations are continuing. There are now people being indicted. And I think Q is dropping a hint that we can expect more indictments to come. The next green text, DEFCON 1, non-nuke false. So we have the string, command, why? Necessary, no such agency, NSA. Where did POTUS stop post-Asia? All right, we know that Trump stopped at Pearl Harbor Naval Base. It was necessary. Forgotten country, it was necessary. When Q says something twice, it's obviously emphasizing it. No other vehicle to regain entry. Again, direct pre-knowledge. Again, warning alert. Think BDT. So let's unwrap this. So we are referencing the previous post that Q put out about DEFCON 1. When that hit Reddit and Twitter, people freaked out. They thought, oh my gosh, we're at DEFCON 1. And Q said, no, it is not about us being at a state of nuclear war. It is not nuclear. It is false. So going down, command. This is, I believe, is Pacific, referring to Pacific Command, the military Pacific Command. Trump met with Pacific Command in Hawaii at the naval base and the NSA. Why? Because they had to do some planning, strategic planning, to figure out if perhaps a missile could regain entry after it had been launched by North Korea. So we're talking about what? The warning alert that went off in Hawaii. Direct pre-knowledge. Think BDT. This is the Bangladeshi terrorist, I believe. So Q had posted about the Bangladeshi bomber who detonated a bomb in New York. Before the event happened, Q posted about it. Q had pre-knowledge. This is a false flag. They had intercepted intelligence information about it, and that's why Q posted about it before it happened. Q also had pre-knowledge of, I believe, the Hawaiian missile alert. So Q had posted DEFCON 1 false. There would be a false alert that would go off. My assumption here is that this was a setup where they were possibly testing the missile system and possibly testing the missile takedown. They may have had another operation in the Pacific that we don't know about, and it was all necessary, okay? And we were told about it in advance. All right, so these posts here just follow up on this particular post that I was talking about. And this is a link to the article about the Bangladeshi terrorist. So the next post is about Julian Assange. As before, green text is Q quoting himself from previous posts. Shall we play a game? How about a nice game of chess? This is something Q had posted before. The floor is yours. Command, why necessary? Who is talking? Think big, think bigger, think biggest. Haiti focus. Why is this relevant? What comes next? CF, boom, shock, buy. Admiral R. Okay, so let's go through this. Shall we play a game? How about a game of chess? The floor is yours. Let's move. We've interpreted this as Q confirming that it's time for Julian Assange to take center stage and drop the intelligence that he has. This refers to negotiations with Dana Rohrabacher, President Trump, and Julian Assange. They're trying to get Assange to give the information that he has on the Clinton Foundation and some other criminal actors. Assange tweeted out a chessboard on January 12th. This was the chessboard. Okay. If you study chess history, famous moves and famous matches, this is actually a famous chess setup that Jerome Corsi tweeted about. Here he tweets about the meaning of it. White wins with sleeping rook freed. The white rook is Julian Assange leaving London. White king, Trump. Black king loses, Obama. Famous White House counterattack after black opening attack fails. Now, he references a link here, and this is a YouTube video. The birth of the deadly Marshall attack, Capablanca versus Marshall. This is a famous chess match that was played in New York in 1918. This is the same setup here that Assange posted. And apparently it's a well-known chessboard setup for people who study chess history. The eventual outcome is the black king is put into checkmate. So we're assuming here that this is a reference to the deep state being put into checkmate. All right, so going to the next part of the post. Command, why, necessary. Who is talking? Think big, think bigger, think biggest. Who is talking, I'm guessing, is a reference to who is turning state's evidence, who is asking for a plea deal. The answer is all the big names. Think big, bigger, biggest. All the big players, George Soros, the Rothschilds, the Clintons, people of that caliber, they are talking. They are asking for plea deals. And we'll get to more of that in just a minute. Okay, next part of that post. The green text, Q is quoting, previous post, Haiti focus. Q had posted this previously. Why is it relevant? What comes next? CF, boom, shock, buy. So let's look at this a little bit at a time. Why did the Clintons all tweet about Haiti this week? I went to their Twitter timelines. Chelsea, Bill, and Hillary Clinton were all tweeting about Haiti. Why is the mainstream media focusing on Haiti? Because Assange is about to drop a Moab, boom, on the Clinton Foundation, that's the CF reference, that'll expose their crooked dealings in Haiti. Mainstream media is trying to get out in front of the bad news that is coming. I'll click on this, and Bill Clinton posts, no Clinton Foundation funds dedicated to Haiti or otherwise were used to pay for Chelsea's wedding. It's not only untrue, it's a personal insult to me, Hillary, and to Chelsea and Mark. That is actually a lie. If you go into the Podesta emails, there are emails between John Podesta and I believe Doug Band talking about how the fact that the Clinton Foundation did pay for Chelsea's wedding, and they actually paid to support her for 10 years, and they wanted her to shut up and stop whining since they had already paid for all this. So here is a post from Hillary. The anniversary of the devastating earthquake 8 years ago is a day to remember the tragedy, honor, and resilient people of Haiti. So Hillary is virtue signaling here about Haiti. And of course, at the bottom, Chelsea gets in the act. Mr. President, immigrants from El Salvador, Haiti, and the 54 countries in Africa likely helped build your buildings. So they're all tweeting about Haiti. Why? Well, they're trying to get in front of a news story that's about to come out. We believe that Assange will probably bring the focus to what the Clinton Foundation did in Haiti. Next section of that tweet is the green text. Admiral Rogers, NSA chief, has been playing a key role in the way the intelligence community leakers and black hats are being neutralized. Rogers is one reason why we can trust that Trump is in the driver's seat. I'm going to park here for a minute and talk a little bit about what we know about Admiral Rogers. If you've been watching previous broadcasts, you know that Rogers has used the NSA to help expose corruption in the Department of Justice, in the FBI, and other intelligence communities. One of the big revelations that came out this week, if you're following Sundance on Conservative Treehouse, is the declassified FISA court ruling it came out in April of 2016. It was declassified April of 2017. DNI, Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coats, declassified this top secret document, which was a ruling from the FISA court, where it was revealed that the FBI and DOJ had allowed private contractors to access the FISA database to gather information on U.S. citizens illegally. This is a private company. They have no legal right to access the NSA's database, but the FBI and DOJ were allowing private contractors to access the database, take out information, and it's likely that this information was used for political opposition research. That has been posted on my Twitter page. Sundance at Conservative Treehouse has been writing about it extensively. If you'd like to know more about that, I would go to Conservative Treehouse and check out the recent articles. Sundance breaks it all down, explains it all in great detail. One thing that Sundance pointed out last night is there's this question: why did Dan Coats, the Director of National Intelligence, declassify this document so quickly after the FISA court ruling? He believes it's because the intelligence community, specifically the NSA and Admiral Rogers, are trying to put out information to show transparency, hoping that people like Sundance will find the information, put the pieces together, follow the breadcrumbs, and realize how much the intelligence community has been weaponized against American citizens and against the president. All right, the next string quotes a POTUS tweet about shutting down the government over DACA. Q says, focus on what this means. Are the Dems really using DACA as a way to defund the military? All right, so we have this quote. It's a tweet from President Trump. Because Democrats are not being interested in life and safety, DACA is now taking a big step backwards. Dems will threaten shutdown, but what they're really doing is shutting down our military at a time we need it most. Get smart, America. Make America great again. And this is a tweet from a few days ago. Trump has tweeted almost every day now about how Dems are threatening to shut down the government over DACA. But what they're really threatening to do is shut down the military. So Q asks the question and says, we're fighting for our country, focus on POTUS. If Dems shut down the government, what happens to the military? What specifically occurs? Think budget. Why is this relevant? Class EO. All right. So one thing to keep in mind is that the president over the last month has issued several executive orders which declared a state of emergency relating to corruption, human rights violations, human trafficking. Probably remember these in the news. Q, I think, is suggesting that Trump has already anticipated the removal of funding for the military by the Dems when they shut down the government. And the state of emergency executive orders are going to prioritize the continued funding of the military. I think Q is suggesting that Trump has already seen this coming and has made a plan for it, that it's not going to shut down the military. And for whatever reason, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, not trying to do any fear-mongering here, I don't think we have anything to worry about, but there is some speculation that the Democrats are trying to shut down the military because the military is supporting the president. And it would be a strategic win if Trump's opponents could get the military defunded, at least temporarily. All right. So next post, this is a fairly long post. Again, green text refers to a previous post. It begins missing 1, missing 2, missing 3. Find missing 3. Future proves past. Nothing is a coincidence. The map is a key. Planned for 3 years. Corruption and evil are deep within, everywhere. Patience, no escape, no deals. Treason at the highest levels. Foreign agents within our government at the highest levels. Puppet masters have been removed. All vehicles of delivery removed. Strings cut. 7th floor no more. FBI, State Department. We see all, we hear all. Okay, so let's break this down. All right. I'm not sure about missing 1, 2, and 3. I'm assuming that this is referring to Barack Obama, John McCain, number 2, and the Clintons, number 3. And you'll see why in a minute. There's another post that makes it a little bit more clear. Find missing 3. Again, I'm not absolutely certain of this, but I think it's referring to find the Clintons, missing 3. Future proves past. Nothing, no coincidences. The map is a key. The map is the total compilation of all of Q's previous posts. This has been planned for 3 years. Okay, or you could say 3 Clintons have been planning this for years. Corruption and evil are deep within, everywhere. So lots of corruption, lots of evil inside the government, inside these different foundations, and in private companies. You have to have patience. There are a lot of people who have grown impatient. They're sick of the talk. They want to see people arrested. Q is saying, look, relax, have patience. We're working on it. There is no escape for these people. There are no deals for them. There is treason at the highest level. So this is all pretty self-explanatory. The puppet masters have been removed. This is probably a reference to people like George Soros and the Saudi princes who have funded this corruption, funded the government corruptocrats, as I call them. Their assets have been frozen. When the president issued that executive order on December 21st, freezing the assets of people involved in human trafficking, human rights violations, and corruption, their assets were frozen. That effectively removed the influence of the puppet masters. Strings have been cut. Okay, FBI, State Department, the 7th floor, well known for the top level of people inside the deep state. Q is saying they have been neutralized. Because they have access to the NSA database, they hear everything, they see everything, they know what's going on. My summary: Trump and his administration have prepared a way for the methodical takedown of the corruptocrats. Their finances have been removed, their way of escape has been blocked, even the deep state's 7th floor has been neutralized. NSA, Rogers, and Trump have cornered the rats. All right, next post. This is a continuation of the previous post. It was a long one. This is still a part of the same post. It suggests an end for the rats who are cornered. We see all, we hear all. The hunt continues. Prison, death, class, Gitmo. Red, red, Iron Eagle. So it's not going to end well for these traitors and treasonous people. Yes, there is a reference to Gitmo. Red, red, I believe, refers to Red Cross. Iron Eagle is an old movie from the 80s, essentially like Top Gun. The interesting thing is, it is a rescue mission of someone who is being held prisoner, and it could be that this is a allusion to Assange being freed, possibly. All right, next post. This one is fairly self-explanatory, and let me zoom in here so you can see this a little bit better. We are fighting for life. We are fighting for good. We are at war, and there's an @ symbol. All right, the @ symbol is how you tag somebody on social media. On Twitter, it's the beginning of your handle. So I believe this is a suggestion that it is a social media war. Not everything will be clean. There is a scare coming that is a necessary event. So this is a warning that there may be an event coming in the next few weeks that is going to frighten people, and we need to not be afraid of it. Do you trust the military? Do you trust the chain of command? Have faith. We are in control. So Q here is just warning people. Have trust in Trump. He's got the right people in place in the military, the right chain of command. The people that are in control can be trusted. They're patriots. Patriots Day, have faith. You are chosen for a reason. You are being provided the highest level of intel to ever be dropped publicly in the history of the world. Use it. Protect and comfort those around you. Where we go one, we go all, Q. All right. So, like I said, pretty self-explanatory. Again, this is just my recap of that particular post. All right, this next post confirms events that we've seen recently in the news. 7 out of 10. I believe this means 7 out of 10 of the people that were targeted have been already found and identified and taken into custody. Targeted, power outages, flights rerouted, flights returning. The bad people are running. There is a public awakening. People are hearing about it on things like YouTube and Twitter. Messages spreading far and wide. People are getting information about this. Goodbye at Jack. That is a wink to Jack Dorsey. I believe Jack has skeletons in his closet, and Jack has stepped down from the board of directors at Disney. So that is what we know about that particular post. This is another post. Q is sometimes too cryptic for me to understand. I'm going to tell you I don't understand most of this. However, and I'll just go through this. When Q posts the word fly, it is typically a reference to an action being taken. Sometimes it's against evil people. Fly, Roth, fly, referring to the Rothschilds. Owls, there are a couple of different interpretations. Some believe the owls are the bad people. Some believe owls are the good people who hunt at night. I would assume that it is a reference to good people, happy hunting as the world turns. So let me interpret this line here. P_PERS, WRWY, brackets, N1LB, brackets, F, G, and C, bracket. Okay. President has a personal message for you. We are with you. No one left behind, for God and country. That's the interpretation of that message. Jeremiah 29 is up here. I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. So this is a post basically sent to give us hope and not to freak us out. The next post is a single post. It's checkmate. You can see it down here. I have a low-res version of this, but it's just a single word, checkmate, Q. Q is telling us the bad guys are cornered and there is no escape. All right, moving down to the next. This is about Loop Capital. People have made mention that I believe Michelle Obama's, I think, brother or brother-in-law is on the board of directors of Loop Capital. But this post, Loop Capital, CEOs and BODs paying to play. So you've got green text again. This is Q quoting himself. Slush fund, Hussein, 29 million, Singapore. We don't say his name. Number 2, 19 million, Singapore. Why don't we say his name? HRC and BC, 315 million, Banco de Mexico. NP, brackets 4, 8 million, Deutsche Bank. On and on and on. Follow the money. Focus on the loudest voices in Washington. Net worth. Reconcile. Q. So let's break this down. CEOs and board of director members, they're usually politicians, are often given paid positions on boards as a way to transfer money to them in exchange for political favor, pay for play, or bribery if you prefer. This is pretty well established practice in nonprofit foundations. They put you on a board as a board of director. They give you some money as an honorarium. It's really a bribe, and you are going to be doing political favors for them. This is well known. So what Q is saying in this one, Hussein, we know from previous posts, is reference to Obama. It's his middle name. Received 29 million from Singapore. We don't say his name. We know from previous posts, this is John McCain, 19 million. Hillary and Bill Clinton, number 3, 15 million from Banco de Mexico. NP is Nancy Pelosi, 8 million from Deutsche Bank. So in the previous post where it said find number 3, this is why I believe it was a reference to Bill and Hillary Clinton, because here Q names them as number 3. On and on, more politicians accepting money for political favors. Who are we talking about? The ones making the most noise in DC. Go check out who's making a lot of noise in DC, and you'll find out who the ones are that are taking the bribes. Do you need proof? Check their net worth against annual salaries, speaking fees. Next post. This is from Q. There's a link to a Wikipedia article. Yeah, this is Mark Mezvinsky. Grew up in conservative Jewish synagogue in Pennsylvania. Parents are both former Democrat members of the House of Representatives. His father, Edward, who embezzled more than $10 million from people via both Ponzi scheme and advance fee scams, was found guilty of fraud 2001. Mother, Marjorie, who is a TV reporter and represented Pennsylvania's 13th district, they declared bankruptcy shortly after he was convicted, and they got divorced. Follow him and his family down the hole. Mark Mezvinsky is married to Chelsea Clinton. Q here is simply suggesting someone needs to do some more digging and find out the rest of the truth on that issue. Next post. Here is the post. Monday, in brackets, next week, bigger, public, we listened. 80-20 now becomes 40-60, Q. Next post, you and your families are safe, promise, Q. So let's break this down. This is a hint that the news is going to grow bigger every week. It's going to be public, and Q says, we listened. People expressed concerns because Q had said about 20% of the information, the intelligence information, is public, and about 80% of it is private. People were concerned. They said, we need to know more information. Q says, we listened. Now, the ratio of public information is 40% to 60% private. All right, Q says, don't be frightened by what you see and hear. You are safe. Trust Trump. Trust the generals. They've got it all under control. Next post. Here's the post. Be ready. Mainstream media is coming in a big way. We see all, we hear all. Fight, fight, fight. Conspiracy push is coming. Mainstream media lost control. Dems lost slave grip. They lost the center voters. Libs are a minority. Mainstream media projects as big movement. Fake news, 4 to 6% lost forever. Hello, George. Q. So what are we talking about here? Mainstream media is going to go full throttle on conspiracy narrative. Anyone who talks about Q, anyone who talks about anything they're not talking about, is going to be called a conspiracy theorist. Like Sean Hannity, who was recently called a conspiracy theorist because he retweeted my QAnon post from last week. Be ready, mainstream media is deflecting. The Dems have lost more control than people realize. They've lost the minority voters. They've lost, because they have pushed their agenda so far left, they've lost the centrist vote. There is a wink to George Soros, who is trapped with the other rats. Q says, oh, so let's go down here. Mainstream media is projecting that there is a blue wave, a lot of Democrat support. Don't believe it, it's fake news. 4 to 6% lost forever. This is 4 to 6% of the population that is so brainwashed into the socialist, Marxist way of thinking, they're never going to come around to seeing the truth. And Q gives a little wink to George Soros. All right. This is, I believe, the last post in my thread, and we'll just go through it. Mainstream media fake news awards coming up in 2 days on the 17th. Are you prepared? Get memes and posts ready. Organized, coordinated. POTUS may retweet one or more of your tweets. Are you ready for launch? Show the world. Show the world the truth. Open their eyes. Don't let POTUS suffer from the Soros loser bots that continually flood his tweets. Make the fake news awards your first organized tweet storm day. Making America Great Again, Q. So that is pretty self-explanatory. Q here is saying that we need to focus on the fake news awards. Get your memes ready, get your threads ready, get your videos ready, get whatever you have, whatever you can do. If you can just retweet, repost, things that have to do with taking down the fake news industrial complex, that is what we need to do this week. It is your opportunity to help Trump MAGA. All right. If you are interested in, you're on Twitter, the Thread Reader app, you can go to my thread. You can say unroll that and it'll create a blog post type compilation of all of this information. That is all I have for you on my QAnon post. Thank you for joining me. I hope you found this helpful. For those of you who are supporting me financially, I do appreciate your financial support. I will post this up on YouTube. Have an awesome week. And don't forget to MAGA. This is Praying Medic out.